Jeff's Superscript is brought to you by Black Cat Comics and Collectibles, in my opinion, the best comic shop and clubhouse on the internet. Follow them at Black Cat Burbank on Instagram and join their claim sales on Tuesdays for new books and Fridays for back issues. And don't forget to ask about joining their Stray Cats Club for special perks.
Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to another one of my videos where I take a look at all the new comic books coming out on either May 18th or 19th, 2021, and I ask myself the question, what one new comic book would I buy this week if I could buy just one book? I'm going to admit right out the gate, this is not a very exciting week for me in comic books. There are a lot of great comic books coming out in the next couple of weeks, but today's list is a little bit lackluster as far as I'm concerned, so I'm going to attempt to move through it as quickly as possible. Let's get started by taking a look back 2 weeks from my pick from 2 weeks ago, which was Batman 108. And the question is, was it a worthy pick to be my just one book pick of the week? And the answer is yes. Yes, it was. It was a lot better than I expected. I don't know quite what I expected from the character of Miracle Molly. I thought maybe she would just be kind of another generic kind of bad guy or henchman, or maybe, like Punchline, but slightly different, different enough to not just be James Tynion IV copying himself. But I should have known better, because James Tynion IV is a great writer. You all know I'm a big fan of his. So I should have known that he was going to do something very interesting with this character, and he absolutely did. I am so interested in this character. I can't wait to see the future for this character and how James Tynion IV plans on using this character in the future. I really do think that there is a future for this character. I have a strong feeling that Bruce Wayne Batman will end up enlisting Miracle Molly and making her part of the Bat family at some point in the future. I think she's going to be around for a long time. As far as its value on the secondary market, frankly, I haven't even looked. I'm not quite so sure. I bought 2 copies of the A and the B cover each, and I don't know how it's performing on the secondary market. I haven't cared to look because, frankly, the read was good enough for me. It was all I needed to know about the value of that book. So, yes, I absolutely think that it was a worthy pick, and I'm very happy with my just one book from 2 weeks ago. All right, let's talk about the books that are coming out this week, first by taking a look at my cover pick for this week. I mentioned that this is kind of a lackluster week for me, and it's no exception in the cover category either. I'm going to fall back on an old favorite by picking this book. It is Catwoman number 31, this B cover by Jenny Friesen. Yes, we have heard her name many times in this section of these videos, and often when it comes to her Catwoman covers, and it's just because she's a really good artist. She does Catwoman really well. Adding in Poison Ivy into this cover is really great. I think it's cool. I like it. Is it the best cover pick that I've ever made? No, but it is the one that I made this week in what I said is a not so great week for comic books as far as I am concerned. So let's go ahead and move past this section into the section where we take a look at the 6 books here that I want to mention that I think are the most interesting books this week for me, ending with the book that I am most excited about, ending with the book that I would pick if I could buy just one book. These other 5 books I will mention right now are listed in no particular order. The first book I want to mention to you is a book called Fantastic Four Life Story. This is issue number 1 of a 6-issue limited series from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. In the tradition of Spider-Man life story, and in celebration of the FF's 60th anniversary, comes this series setting the lives of the fabulous foursome in real time across the years. Amid the backdrop of the Cold War and the space race, a terrible accident gives the Fantastic Four great powers, a terrible secret, and entangles them in the history of their planet. Alright, so in case that wasn't clear, we're going to start with the Fantastic Four getting their powers in the 60s, then move through the 70s, 80s, 90s, aughts, and 10s. I guess that's all the decades that will be handled in 6 issues. Moving through their lives chronologically. So they will get 10 years older with each decade. This is something that Chip Zdarsky did with Spider-Man, as this description mentioned, Spider-Man Life Story previously. This one is written by Mark Russell. So I like the idea. I personally haven't read Spider-Man Life Story, but I've heard such great things about it, and I actually have the trade paperback on order, so I'm really looking forward to reading it. But it's a really cool idea, and I think if it's well done by Mark Russell here, it could be a very entertaining read. And especially with the Fantastic Four coming to the Marvel Cinematic Universe in a year or two, now's a good time to kind of bone up on some Fantastic Four, and this might be a very good way to do that. All right, the next book I want to mention to you is Shang Chi, #1. Here's the descriptions also from Marvel Comics. Shang-Chi versus the Marvel Universe. Shang-Chi and his family are back, and this time they're colliding head-to-head with the Marvel Universe's biggest heroes. Shang-Chi has finally taken his place as the leader of the Five Weapons Society. But using an evil secret organization as a force for good won't be easy, and it's about to get a lot harder when Shang-Chi's fellow superheroes, like the Amazing Spider-Man, start to see him as the bad guy. Jean Luen Yang and DK Ruan return to bring you the next chapter of this Marvel legend. I've said this a million times. I don't know a lot about Shang-Chi, but the more I look and the more I see and the more I learn, the more interested I am in this character. And with this character, definitely, the movie is coming in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, similar to Fantastic Four. This is a good opportunity to bone up on this character if this character sounds at all interesting to you as well. This is all the reasons why I wanted to mention it. The next book I want to mention is a book called Red Room, #1 from Fantagraphics Books. This is an interesting one. Here's the description. From the creator of Hip Hop Family Tree and X-Men Grand Design comes this all-new monthly comic book series with a specially priced, self-contained, double-sized debut issue. Red Room is a cyberpunk outlaw splatterpunk masterpiece aided by the anonymous dark web and nearly untraceable cryptocurrency. There has emerged a subculture of criminals who live stream and patronize webcam murders for entertainment. Who are the murderers? Who are the victims? How do we stop it? As seen on Pisker's YouTube channel sensation, cartoonist Kayfabe. Okay, so this is from writer and artist Ed Piskor. And this seems just dark and twisted and odd enough that if you are looking for a dose of dark and twisted in your comic book reading this week, boy howdy, is this going to check that box in a big way. It actually sounds like it could be kind of interesting. I don't think it will be, it doesn't sound like it will be overly gratuitous, but I bet you it's going to be at least partially gratuitous. Anyways, if you're looking for some fun, scary, gory, gnarly stuff this week, Red Room is the book for you. The next book I want to mention to you is Legends of the Dark Knight, #1 from DC Comics. Here is the description. The iconic series Legends of the Dark Knight is back. Comics icons and rising stars alike will tell digital-first stories across the Batman mythos, beginning with comics legend and co-creator of The Boys, Derek Robertson, writing and drawing an epic 3-issue supervillain crime drama. A new player has arrived on the scene in Gotham City and is selling deadly chemicals to the worst villains in town, Mr. Freeze, the Penguin, and even the Joker. It's up to Batman to stop the villains, track down the supplier, and save Gotham City once more. And in upcoming issues, look for stories and art by Stephanie Phillips, Brandon Thomas, Becky Cloonan, Matt Rosenberg, Brandon Easton, Cian Tomery, Giannis Milonogiannis, Carl Mostert, and many more. Well, Legends of the Dark Knight is back. I remember back in the 90s when this series first came out, I was personally super excited about it because I was a big Batman fan. I am still a big Batman fan, but I don't really care so much about this series. I think I said this in my FOC video. James Tynion IV is providing me all the Batman entertainment that I need right now, and everything else seems to pale a bit in comparison. Now, I don't want to judge this too harshly too early, but I am not particularly interested in it. But let's face facts. Batman is awesome. And more Batman is always at least worth considering checking out. So, if you're a gigantic Batman fan and you are excited about yet another ongoing Batman title, Legends of the Dark Knight is coming out this Tuesday, and you might just want to pick it up. The next book I want to mention to you is Wonder Girl, #1 from DC Comics. Here is the description. The story of Yara Flor starts here. Raised in the far-off land of Boise, Idaho, Yara Flor has always felt something was missing from her life, and now she is headed to Brazil to find it. Little does she know, her arrival will set off a series of events that will change the world of Wonder Woman forever. Her return has been prophesized, and with that prophecy comes the undivided attention of benevolent gods from pantheons beyond. Danger lurks around every corner, but is this young hero ready for her journey? Find out in a debut issue you absolutely cannot miss. Spinning out of the best-selling Future State Wonder Woman, acclaimed writer-artist Joelle Jones makes a triumphant return to the character to officially introduce her into the DC universe. You think you know Wonder Girl, but you have never seen her like this. Well, during the whole Future State event earlier this year, I kept wondering to myself, what does it mean for these characters? What does it mean to go forward in time and tell these stories? You're going to go back in time. What's going to happen to those characters? Well, now we are finding out. Some of the characters from Gotham, that aren't Batman, are being featured in the Future State Gotham series that just started coming out recently. So those characters have a life there. We got a origin story about the next Batman in his additional title that came out. And now Wonder Girl is going to have a new life in this ongoing series. So I guess we should have known that they weren't going to create and develop these characters in this world and just kind of sort of bail on it. Oh, and another thing I wanted to mention about Batman 108, my pick from 2 weeks ago, that is relevant to these Future State stuff, is that in Batman 108, it is clear the Future State stuff was not some just kind of random story that took place that they were going to forget about. The story in Batman is moving toward the world that was presented to us in Future State. So the seeds of it are starting to grow in the current timeline for what we see in Future State. And this is just another example of how that Future State, I mean, anything can happen in the future. Time could go like this. This is worth at least considering, because obviously Wonder Girl is here to stay. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at my final book that I wanted to mention today. This is the book that I would pick if I could buy just one book. Now, I'm emphasizing me. I don't necessarily recommend this for everybody. This is the one for me. These videos are always personal picks, okay? And this is the one that I would buy if I could buy just one book. And that book is We Only Find Them When They're Dead, #6 from Boom Studios. Here is the description. 50 years have passed since Captain Malik and the crew of the Vihan 2 embarked on their fateful mission, and the universe has changed in ways no one ever expected. Jason Hauer, one of the fated Vihan 2 crew, is now 71 years old and living a life on the razor's edge between the harvesters and the worshippers. But as these rival religious factions clash throughout the galaxy, Jason finds himself thrown into the center of the chaos and forced to confront his tortured past. But the only people who can help Jason have their own secret agenda, one that may bring him face to face with Captain Malik in ways beyond comprehension. All right, so I've been a big fan of We Only Find Them When They're Dead since the first issue. I thought it was really entertaining. Most people, frankly, didn't care about it. It had zero movement on the secondary market. Not that many people were talking about it, but I thought it was really, really good. And Al Ewing, who does a lot of great books out right now, is a great writer, and he did a really great job with it. So I enjoyed it. I found it interesting. And I was sad when after issue number 5, it seemed like that story arc was done. They're doing something with issue number 6 here that kind of sort of blows my mind. After only 5 issues in this series, they're fast forwarding 50 years. That is bonkers to me. Was the first 5 issues, was that a prequel? Was that always meant to be a prequel? Is the series We Only Find Them When We're Dead that we're going to, like, if there's a future, an extended future of this book, is the series what it's actually going to be now, starting with issue number 6? Did they put out the first 5 issues and decide that this really wasn't working and let's pivot, let's go forward 50 years in the future and try something different with this world we've built? I don't know what's going on. I find it so fascinating that they pushed forward 50 years in the future that I'm like, that's why this is my pick, frankly. That is the one reason why, well, 2 reasons. 1, I really like the title. I've been enjoying it. But 2, I gotta know, what is the plan for this book? What does it mean to jump 50 years into the future? Basically abandoning, 50 years is a long time. You're essentially abandoning the vast majority of the world that you already built and building an entire new one. What is that world going to be? I'm excited to find out. I am highly interested to find out. And once again, in a week that I find to be a bit lackluster. You know, there are books that are coming out this week that I'm excited about reading. I'm excited about reading Stillwater, which is coming out. I'm excited about reading Scumbag, which is coming out this week. But once again, in a week that I find kind of sort of lackluster as much as far as comic books in general are concerned, the one that I am most interested in reading, the one I am most excited about picking up and reading first is We Only Find Them When They're Dead, number 6, and that is why it is my just one book pick for this week. All right, there it is. That's the video. That's the books. Hey man, I didn't schedule them this week. I know it's not a great one as far as I'm concerned. Maybe there's a book that you're super excited about and you're like, Jeff, you should have mentioned this book. It's super awesome. Put it down in the comments. Let me know what book I missed or I'm not giving enough credit this week. If you like this video and you like this content, you like these lists, likes are appreciated by me, so please hit the like button if you are so inclined. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe. You know, hitting this guy is a fun way to do it. At least I think so. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.